Nerdy Scribbler. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Nerdy Scribbler. I'm your host, Anthony D'Elia, and today I'm going to be heading back into my favorite style of drawing, cartooning. So look forward to a lot of crazy proportions, wacky faces, and extremely zany poses. Before we start, just a reminder to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe, and if you so choose, follow me on Patreon to help the channel grow. Now without further ado, let's get into today's topic. As you probably gleaned from the title, I'm going to be turning 5 cute Pokemon into 5 creepy Pokemon. Starting off, we have Happiny. Now, Happiny is holding an egg, just like all of her evolutions, but I decided to make Happiny more of a demented mother in this drawing. I gave her a very swollen eyeball with a tiny pupil, like she's really focusing, and I'm having her eat the egg, and the egg is rotten on the inside. I gave her a spiked belt, and I'm turning her, what would be her ponytail, into more of like a mouth at the top. So I have these really pointy teeth, and then her ponytail is a really long, gross tongue. I shaded her forehead down to the middle of her eyeballs to make it look like she's like sick almost from eating, the bile of her egg. But I have her reaching back in like she's just not done. So it's like this gluttonous mass. I made one eye bigger than the other just to give her more of a crazy look, and I like having her bangs become more twisted spikes. And then I gave her high heels to drive home the motherly appearance, and I chose a circle for her background. Next, I'm going to be tackling Oddish. Oddish was a little bit tricky since it has such a simple design, so making it look scary is kind of difficult. Essentially, I decided to make its leaves wilt, because why not? Any kind of spooky plant is going to have wilting leaves. I had the roots wrap around the body to make it look like the plant is possessing whatever Oddish is. I guess it's an onion or something. I made its knees bend, so it looks like Oddish has like some kind of weight to it, or that it's like skulking around. Its feet are really big, so they look like seeds. And I decided to make the mouth scarier, so I have it more of an open jaw rather than a spooky smile, and a lot of wrinkles around the mouth to look like it's not supposed to be opening that wide. Then for the shading, I just decided to add some blue in there, just to drive home the blue body theme, and it also makes it look a little bit more alien. It looks like the plant is like some kind of parasite, and Oddish is just like some kind of poor bystander. I really like what I did with the eye, the dark, and then the little shine on there looks really good. And then the blue tongue makes it look like it's undead. Since Oddish is more of a tall character, or well, rather, the drawing is more of a tall character, I used a long rectangle to complement it. Next up is the classic of classics, Pikachu. So Pikachu has been getting thinner and thinner with each generation, and it's fine. He looks good. He looks stylish, and so for this Pikachu, I decided to get him thin to the extreme. I have him in a very lanky pose, arms outstretched, and his waist is nothing but a spine. So I'm having him shock away his waist so that he can be as thin as he possibly can for the next generation. The spikes along his body are just his fur standing on edge because of what he's doing to himself. Very harmful Pikachu, you should probably go easy on that. And then I'm using his yellow base color, but I'm giving it a little bit of a green tint to make him look more sickly. And then the shading, I started off with brown as his shading, but that wasn't, it felt weird. So I decided to give him a blue shading, since I'm making his lightning blue coming out of his cheeks, as you can see. And I decided to highlight everything that the lightning would be, bouncing around. And then his shading is actually his yellow. It turned out very nice. Pikachu looks very thin, very fit. Not so fit, he looks really a little too thin for me. Right there, Pikachu. But I mean, he looks happy with himself. And since he's more of a horizontal drawing, I decided to give him a longer ellipse. And with his yellow color, I just made it purple, because nice little highlight there. It brings out more of the yellow rather than the blue. Now we have the spooky cutie Phantump. So Phantump was a very fun one to draw, since Phantump actually has a weird lore bit of, I think it's whenever a child dies in the forest, a Phantump is born as a spirit of the dead child. So for Phantump here, I have a boy, scared, alone, and his shadow is the Phantump. So it's almost as if the Phantump is prophesizing that this boy is about to die, which, is very dark. I'm very sorry about that, but we are going for a very creepy theme here. I like what I did with the Phantump for this one. The shading looks really good of it turning into a shadow with very black features around its hands and base, and then it goes up into his gray. The black around the mouth area looks good too. It's like just very dramatic shading, and of course the black around the boy's eyes drives home that he's very scared and nervous about what's going to happen to him. I had fun with Phantump's eyes. I couldn't quite decide on what I wanted to do with them, so I just decided to go with red pupils, and his mouth was very hard to do. It was just a lot of jagged black and white. I had to erase a lot and put black back in to make it look very jagged and sharp. And of course I added more wispies to Phantump's eyes because it just makes him look more spectral. But yeah, good shading on this one. The boy looks really, really sad. I like his toothpaste colored hair, and I like his bowl cut. It looks really good on him. Poor helpless child. And then I gave Phantump a circle background because of the shape of him. It looks really sphere-like. It almost adds like a full moon effect. Finally, I'll be drawing Charmander, another Gen 1 classic. So Charmander is based off of a salamander, and I decided that I'll be turning him more into that. So he's going to be a little bit slimier, a little bit lankier. But of course, I'm going to be drawing him in a dragon-esque kind of style because Pokemon loves to bring home the fact that he is a dragon, even though he's fire flying. So I'm giving him a really long tongue, making him really slimy just to bring home the spooky factor. I want him to look like he's kind of melting since he's a fire type, and it'd be interesting to see a fire Pokemon start melting, so I gave him like a waxy kind of look. And to further that, I turned his tail into a candle. So yeah, his tail has a reason to be on fire. I'm sticking with his base color of orange, just giving it a little bit more pale of a look so it looks like he hasn't seen light other than his candle for a very long time. I can imagine this guy dwelling in some kind of cave. Shading was interesting on this one because I'm using his tail as a light source. I'm pretty much having all the shadows on the left side of him since the light source is coming from the right. The light source on the tail was good too. Nice ring effect with just turning down the opacity. Then I gave him little wispy fires in his eyes just to make him look even creepier, and giving him these little freckles, like liver spots on his body, just to make him look a little bit more spooky. But yeah, there's Charmander. So I hope you enjoyed this scary scribble session. Let me know in the comments below what other Pokemon you want me to turn into monstrosities, or vice versa. If you like what you've seen here, feel free to hit the like button and subscribble if you want to stay up to date on more Nerdy Scribbler content. Until next time, my scribblings.